Y bienvenidos todos. Fala galera. Welcome back, everybody. It's been far too long since we've had a Sentimiento Latino. Of course, this week it is number 125, and this is the first week back. The first week back from I am Katowice. Of course, the World Finals was last week, and I apologize everyone because we missed out on a couple of tournaments because of it. For those wondering, we were lucky, the CranKy Ducklings were lucky enough to cast I am Katowice. We were a part of the C stream for the first day. So we absolutely ruined our sleep schedule for it. IM was like, it was like 12-hour long broadcasts, and it was hard to keep up. It was hard to keep up, and because of that, last week we weren't able to cast Go by Pyrian. I think like IM ended by the time Go by Pyrian began, and it was like we couldn't stay up. we couldn't do it. Oh god! But we're back now that the World Finals is over. You know, maybe a couple of changes are on the horizon when it comes to the meta, when it comes to even a patch. We'll see. But more importantly, we're back with some Latin American StarCraft, and oh my god, it's gonna be an insane week. It's gonna be an insane tournament. !B in the chat if you want to have a look at the bracket. I already see some people in the chat. I see our first Quacker. I see Lord Logan there. I see Icecar. I see Icecar there as well. And the bracket, it's pretty stacked. It's pretty brutal. Of course, we have all of our regulars. We have a couple of irregulars that have shown up, like your Soldier, who's been more consistent recently, like Crown, Sub is there. But in that first round, we have some insane matches. We have a TVT, Crown versus Ares. We have a ZVP, one of the best Protoss and Zerg in the entire region. Zions versus Eggs is going on right now. But we have decided to dive into a different kind of matchup. Oh my god, I gotta quickly fix this. Here we go. Because, oh my god, spawning in the top right-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have El Chileno himself. One of the best memers out there in Latin America, representing Exeritus Ignat. It is CristianoX. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres ALE, we have the Brazilian Protoss player. He is red, representing Amantes de StarCraft. It is Rangel. Let's go. Oh god. So of course I had to go for the PvP. One of the reasons why is, if you're familiar with the CranKy Ducklings, then you should recognize this person right here, this player, caster, memer, Cristiano. He has casted here on this channel many times, and he's a great player. But I think this is his first time competing this year. Maybe we cast, sorry, we casted him I think in January. I think we casted him in January once. February he was MIA, but now he is back, and I you know, obviously we gotta be here for our boy. as juicy of a matchup as Eggs versus Zions is, and I completely understand, like that's an amazing matchup, but we gotta be here for CristianoX. We gotta be here for our Protoss player, and see how he does, because Rangel isn't a pushover. We've casted him a couple of times. When it comes to the Brazilian scene, sure, he's not the Zerg Lord. Sure, he's not like the up-and-comer 16-year-old Yanji. He's not Shakti, who's now actually casting a lot more than playing. But he's also on the up-and-up. You know, he is GM himself, and Rangel has been more active recently as well. So by no means is this going to be, or this shouldn't be, like a one-sided series, but we'll see how things go. Cristiano, again, he's a very smart player. He's got a really he's got a big brain, but his hands are a little bit slow. Like his mechanics are lacking. But sometimes that doesn't matter, you know, like, and sometimes he makes up for that fact. For example, CristianoX, he scattered a little bit. He didn't see the tech for Rangel, but he's playing it safe and he throws down the shield battery, for example, right? Like, again, he's just trying to cover his bases. He's trying to play as safe as possible. It is a little bit inefficient because obviously there's no Oracle, there was no Stargate opener. So this is kind of wasted resources, but Cristiano's playing it safe because he was unable to scout because of his opener. He opened up with 2 stalkers. He does have a sentry on the way, and with this sentry he'll be able to scout, and it's so important that he does because Rangel is going 1 base. Rangel has 4 gateways. He's going 1 base, 4 gate all in. Obviously there's no blink, so there's not a lot of finesse with this, but there's going to be a lot of firepower. It's just going to be a sheer overwhelming amount of vanilla stalkers coming the way of CristianoX, and I'm a little bit scared. Cristiano, he still doesn't know. We're waiting for the hallucinated scout. Like, we need something to go across the map now. It looks like he's waiting for his Oracle, and this Oracle is going to deal a lot of damage, but he may just die. Like, it may just all be over. He's gonna have a shield battery. He's gonna have a force field because he's not using a hallucination to scout. So he's gonna have a little bit extra here. But I really do worry because he only has 2 gateways to work with. Meanwhile, here we go. We have a proxy pylon. In total, we have 11. We have 11. I think this is just over. We have 11 stalkers. We can one-shot with 2 shots. Sorry, and just everything's just dead. It's over. At the same time, the Oracle's across the map, and the Oracle is going to kill every single worker here. But you can't deal with these stalkers. The shield battery goes down. The Nexus is going to go down as well. Like, Cristiano was playing in the dark for oh so long, and maybe he can hold in his mate. He's trying to throw down the stasis. Yo, the stasis! Oh my god. But this is brutal. Both gateways are now depowered. That is it. Oh, and it gets baited out. Rangel, he saw, he knew. And just like that, he still has the overwhelming numbers advantage. The boys are being pulled. No, the Immortal is not going to come out. The Immortal was the saving grace here for CristianoX. He is popping an overcharge, and overcharge, the shield battery is being focused down. So a lot of damage is being dealt to the army of Rangel, but is it really going to be enough? Maybe. Oh my god, the overcharge, the shield battery survives. GG, CristianoX does it. Oh my god. I thought the shield battery was gonna die, but he stopped focus firing for a moment there. And apparently workers are all you need. Oh my god. How did he do it? You could argue maybe Rangel was wasting a little bit of time. I don't know. Like, I kind of agree with what he was doing. He depowered the gateways. He was focusing the robo so the Immortal didn't come out. Obviously, let's be real, Rangel shouldn't have gotten surrounded by the workers. Like, I understand that he was trying to focus down the shield battery, which makes sense, but when you have such an overwhelming amount of stalkers, the shield battery is not that important. You can overpower it. You can out DPS the heals of the shield battery. And maybe he should have just kited away, right? Played a little bit slower, a little bit smarter. But Rangel, he just got surrounded, and the citizen's arrest, it worked. Am I crazy? How many stalkers did Cristiano? I think Cristiano had 2 stalkers, right? Am I crazy? He had like 2 stalkers in a sentry. Oh my god. He did. He had 2 stalkers in a sentry. I'm looking at the end screen, and Rangel still had the supply lead. Fun fact. But GG, well played. CristianoX, he does it. He takes game 1. But that was close. That was close. You know, if Rangel again had a little bit better army control there and didn't allow himself to get pinned up against the wall and surrounded by the workers, that could have been an entirely different game. Like, CristianoX was playing so blind. Like, he had no idea what was coming his way. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm just looking at the replay. He had 2 stalkers and a sentry. Wow. The boys. Oh my god. Anyway, with that, we're gonna get ready for game number 2. It looks like the players are still deciding on the lobby. Again, it was a very intense game, and what's important is, hold on, I can show this on screen actually. What's important is that the winner of this series, oh no, we're not doing the raffle yet. The winner of this series will move on to face Jim Rising. Jim Rising is, of course, one of the best Zerg players in Latin America. He used to be anyway. Nowadays he's, you know, more of a variety streamer. But I think that's gonna be a lot of fun as well. Like Cristiano versus Jim Jaime. That's juicy. That's spicy. Of course, when it comes to the other players here, we have people that we would expect. You know, Yanji is here, Davo is here, White Hydra, the Zerg Lord, Ryu, our boy. If Fidnantok shows up, I apologize to Fidnantok even. Parker Mike is not here, so Protoss representation is lacking. It's always lacking when Parker Mike's not here. You know, Parker Mike, he is the best Protoss player in all of Latin America, undisputedly. So if he's not here, Protoss tends to struggle a little bit. Protoss can tend to struggle a little bit, but that's where Cristiano steps in, right? That's where he's like, yo, okay, Parker Mike's not here, I gotta step up, right? I gotta try and represent my race. And maybe he can do so. I mean, again, Jim Rising hates playing against Protoss. Whoever wins here is gonna have a decent shot against Jim. Which I know is heinous to say, because I know there are a lot of Jim fans out there, but he has a hard time against Protoss. Meanwhile, here we go. We are spawning in game number 2, and in the top left hand corner of Berlingrad LE, we have the Brazilian Protoss player representing Amantes de StarCraft. It is Rangel. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Berlingrad LE, representing Exeritus Ignat, is the Chilean Protoss player already leading this series. It is CristianoX. Cristiano. A wild game number 1 where, again, it felt like Rangel had everything in the bag, but CristianoX, again, he was very calculated in his decisions, right? He was throwing down the stasis ward, he was trying to chrono out his immortal, the overcharge was used at a pretty good time. He pulled his workers when he knew that he had the worker lead, because his oracle was dealing so much damage across the map. It was very well handled by CristianoX, and he didn't panic too much. So he was able to respond well. And now, getting into game 2, I'm curious to see what Rangel will do next, because we're on Berlingrad, you know, shortest rush distance map in the map pool, right? We say that all the time. So if he wanted to go for some one-base play, it would hit a little bit harder. It will hit a little bit faster as well. But at the same time, it's that much more obvious, because Rangel just did that in game 1. I know CristianoX has spoken about Rangel in the past, about how cheesy he is as a player. Will Rangel be forced to go into 2-base play? Will he be forced to expand? We'll see. We'll see as the Cyber Core is about to finish up, and we can see what all this gas is going to be spent on. As CristianoX, he's already got his Nexus on the way. He went for a Gateway Nexus expand. This does kind of, you know, delay any kind of production. He is down a Gateway, so, you know, there is like a window here that Rangel can utilize. He's making 2 Adepts. Those 2 Adepts, they're going to be zooming across the map. And if left unchecked, they could deal some damage. Oh boy. Here we go as the Adepts are shading across the map. We do see that CristianoX is trying to play this safe. He's throwing down his shield battery. Again, still only working off of 1 Gateway, going straight into a Robo. But I'm worried because the Adepts are here and there's nothing on top of the ramp. There's nothing stopping these. Okay, never mind. Beautiful. I was like, man, CristianoX doesn't look like he's ready. Nah, he was completely ready. He knew exactly what he needs to do, and he does wall off in time. The Adepts. They didn't find a way in. Oh boy. The adepts commit to a shade anyway, and they do get into the natural base. One probe does get picked off. Oh. Second probe, actually. Jesus. 3 in total this game, so not bad, but I'm sure Rangel would have loved to have gotten a little bit more damage. And we do see that he is forced to expand. He is kind of taking this in a different direction. That direction being Blink Stalkers for the time being. +1 Blink Stalkers looks like it's on the horizon, which is pretty stock standard. CristianoX is the one who's diverging a little bit here and focusing more on Immortals. And with these Immortals, he will have a really great like defensive position. Like Immortals with shield batteries, they're so good. Like it's so difficult to break this with just Blink Stalkers. And what's a little bit scary is that, of course, eventually CristianoX wants to get into his own Stalkers, and he can push out with like 3 Immortals, and it's going to be a strong timing if he continues Immortal production after, you know, this Observer. And CristianoX coming out with more than one. He wants to make sure he has detection just in case he's up against DTs, which, again, Rangel is kind of a cheesy player, and CristianoX doesn't have a lot of vision, so he's just playing this safe, making sure he has vision and detection all over the place. As he should get across the map and then confirm, okay, it's Blink Stalkers, +1 melee. It's what we would expect. Nothing too fancy, nothing too fancy. On top of this, he confirms the worker saturation, no additional gases were taken at the natural base or anything crazy like that. So again, a really nice scout for CristianoX. Meanwhile, Rangel is playing this in the dark. He does have some sentries, so he can hallucinate scout, so he's going to be relying a lot on that, less so on, you know, his robotic units, on his observers. At some point, I imagine he's going to be wanting to get a Warp Prism. We'll see how many additional gateways he throws down. He has 3 at the moment, which is okay. Oh my god, as CristianoX throws down the 3rd. Jesus Christ, he is being so greedy right now. Or like so economic focused. He's not stopping Immortal production, which I think is a good thing. And I thought he was going to go for like a 2-base timing with the Immortals. But no, he just gets a 3rd base. And now that this has been spotted, Rangel, he is going for his own. So Rangel also confirms that nothing crazy is going on. He spots the 3rd base, and his will be later, but seeing the 3rd, he knows that there shouldn't be like a big committed attack or anything like that. Boy, as he does start +2, and that's probably the biggest advantage that Rangel has. Like, sure, he's behind in tech, sure, he doesn't have Immortals, or he's only working with Blink Stalkers, but he's gonna have +2. Like, that's gonna be a pretty massive upgrade, all things considered. Is it going to make up for everything else that CristianoX will have? The fact that CristianoX is transitioning into charge loss to help buffer for his army. He's working on a 2nd forge as well for double upgrades, which is not something you see too often, but it makes sense. You need those armor upgrades for your zealots. Yeah, like CristianoX, he's just in a way out attempting to out macro Rangel. And it's working. Like, I thought Rangel was going to try and hit a timing, but no, Rangel, he's also backing off. He's also trying to meet Cristiano. He's down in workers, down in bases, but he's looking to catch up, and he's looking to tech up as well. I like this. Obviously, he's been behind in Immortal production, and he's not going to try and catch up. He's going straight into those disruptors. And we all know how good disruptors can be. we all know how good they are. As long as the Novas connect, it doesn't matter how much of an army lead you have. Like, boom, 20, 30 army supply can evaporate in an instant with 1 or 2 Purification Novas. So, Rangel, I love it. It's beautiful. I would love a 2nd Robo even more for double disruptor production. Only 1 Robo at the moment, so a little bit lackluster, to be honest. But hopefully he throws down that 2nd Robo soon. And yeah, behind this, 4th base on the way for both players. Yo, I'm so surprised by how passive this game has been. Oh my god, no! CristianoX! Rangel comes out ahead here in the trade, does take down 3, 4, 5 Stalkers. Oh my god, he's just gonna keep going. Are we not even gonna get to the disruptors? The Immortals are finally going to show up, and the Immortals will push them away, but they're so isolated. Just like that, both Immortals are going to be focused down. They're going to buy a little bit of time here, so CristianoX will be able to defend, but losing 2 Immortals like that was huge. But maybe it's go time. Maybe Cristiano, he just keeps on going. Oh, the Nova, he blinked forward. Oh, only one Stalker went down, and now that Disruptor is so exposed, it gets taken down immediately. Overcharge was 1 second too late. And even though CristianoX won't be able to finish it off here, again, picking off a Disruptor was huge, especially because we don't have another on the way. We have an Observer. Okay. There's that second Robo. But we haven't had consistent Disruptor production, so Rangel, he's just stuck with Blink Stalkers right now. And CristianoX, he's catching up in the upgrades. He's working on +2. He's working on his own War Prism so he can go across the map. Still no Robotic Spay though, so I'm a little bit worried if Rangel does get more Disruptors out. But we're still lacking them. Where are they? Oh god, at the same time the armies are clashing. This time we do have a couple of Zealots to help buffer, to help soak up some of those shots. There's a War Prism is on the way. And Cristiano may just have 2 more. Where are the Disruptors? I've been waiting for the Robo production, it just hasn't come in. Meanwhile, the 4th base is going to go down. War Prism was a little bit exposed there, but where's that Warp in? Here it is. So here it is. Yeah, let's go. Zealots are on the way. And Overcharge was used earlier. Is it off cooldown? It is off cooldown. We don't have enough energy on this Nexus. As Cristiano is playing this a little bit safe, he takes out the 4th, he's going to rotate around. I still think that he can just go for it. We're equal in upgrades, but in a couple of seconds, Rangel is going to take the lead with +3, and the Disruptors are finally coming out. It took a while, it took a long time. But again, if they come out in time, Rangel, he can hold. CristianoX, he's looking not to give him that time. Trading a little bit with these Stalkers at the same time he sends a force of Zealots here to the 4th base, denies it once again. CristianoX taking a 5th. God, there are just so many bases. It's just too much. The Gateway Army is too much. In comes the Disruptor. We did see a blink forward. Up. Only 1 Stalker goes down again. Oh my god. How's he doing it? Another Nova goes off, but only gets a couple of Zealots, and these Novas have been lackluster. We've seen how good they can be, but not this game. And CristianoX, he's just gonna walk away with it. Like, there's just an overwhelming amount of Zealots, Stalkers. He's got 21 Zealots to the 4 of Rangel. Doesn't matter how many Disruptors you have, it's just not going to be enough. Overcharge just popped again. We have another Disruptor. Oh my god! Finally a decent shot, but it's too late. Ah! GG gets called, and Cristiano, he does it. He takes down Rangel 2-0. And he will move on to the next round. Ah. GG, well played. Cristiano showing that, you know, slow and steady can win the race. He was very defensive, very economic focused in both games, I would say. And he was able to deflect any kind of aggression from Rangel, counterattack, and take that series beautifully. And now I worry a little bit, because now he is moving on to a completely different matchup. It's not just PvZ, it's PV Jaime. It's PV Jim Rising. Jim Rising is a very different kind of player. I mean, he's good at what he does, but he's also very stylistic. He's very quirky. He loves going for all-ins. He loves going for mutas. And he loves going for queen walks. You know, he doesn't want to play the late game ZVP. And when I think of CristianoX, I think Skytoss. I think even Fleet Beacon into Tempest play, you know, like going into fast Tempest, going to fast carriers. CristianoX, he loves abusing Skytoss, and that is kind of Jim's weakness. Kind of. He can hit timings, he can hit Hydra timings, or even Queen Corruptor timings. But, you know, CristianoX is a very defensive player, so this next series is going to be hard to call.